Hi Shivans. Hi Dhruvi. Hi Rishabh. How's it going guys? सैटरडे को सुबह सुबह उठ के कैसा लग रहा है? हेलो. हाय Natasha. Shivans, do you want your note taker to join in the call or not? You decide, no? I'll admit it. It's fine. I don't mind. Yeah, sure. ये तो थोड़ा वो नहीं हो गया ऐसे शेडी रिकॉर्डिंग टाइप. Consent, please. Hi uncle. Which app is that? अच्छा सेम क्या? Oh, interesting. If you let one in, everybody starts recording. Interesting. Didn't think of this. Okay, we'll just wait for like 2 more minutes. More people joining in. Saturday है, सब सो रहे होंगे भाई. क्या सब लोग ऐसे ही कैमरा. हेलो. कैसे हैं आप? हाउ इज एवरीथिंग? बढ़िया. वेयर आर यू? आप कहाँ पे अभी? आगरा में या फिर यहीं पे? बढ़िया बढ़िया बढ़िया. ओके, सही है. हमने नई कंपनी ज्वाइन करी. ओके. ओह हा हा हा. सही. अच्छा. कॉन्ट्रैक्ट बेसिस पे. हाँ. ये भी सही है, अच्छा है. ओके. वैसे तो प्रोजेक्ट्स बहुत लंबे चलते हैं ना इनके, नहीं? अच्छा, ऐसा है क्या? अच्छा. चलो. सही हूँ मैं. आई एम नॉट फीलिंग वेल टुडे गाइस, बट आई एम स्टिल हियर बिकॉज एवरीबॉडी एल्स इज हियर. We'll do this session. Oh, by the way, I have like one laptop is here that has a webcam and I have a monitor here, so I'll be looking here and there. I hope you don't mind. एंड कोई कोई कैमरा क्यों नहीं खोल रहा है भाई? कैमरा खोलो, थोड़ा ह्यूमनाइज करो भाई कॉल को. यस. थैंक्स योंस. थैंक यू. यस ये भाई. अच्छा, बोलने की देरी थी बस. सही सही. ओके. सॉर्टेड. कूल. हाय नताशा. भाई कितने सालों बाद देखा तेरे को. यूर ऑन म्यूट अगर तू कुछ कह रही है तो. अभी कट जाएगा भाई ये कुछ महीने में. Okay, cool. We just wait for like 2, 3 more minutes. More people joining in. Meanwhile, I think we can get started with. I don't know. Should we do introductions? So quick introductions. I think we should know who's in the room. Maybe थोड़ा सा connect कर सके. Just everybody just grab your LinkedIn or whatever profile that you want to share. At least put it on the chat and only put it on the chat once you have spoken कि आप कौन हो, जिससे कि लोग थोड़ा सही तरीके से सब लोग एक दूसरे से कनेक्ट कर पाए, राइट? क्विक इंट्रोडक्शन अबाउट हु यू आर एंड व्हाट यू डू. बस लाइक 1 or 2 lines, not more than that. Who's gonna start? अंकुर आप स्टार्ट करिए. यस. Hey, nice, nice, nice. Yep, we'll keep it short. Sorry, we'll keep it short, matlab, because we need to focus on Claude also. Cool. So I think you can drop your LinkedIn in the chat, and yeah, we can move on to the next one. Natasha, do you want to go ahead? Quick intro. We'll go next. Who wants to go next? Devesh, do you want to go next? Thank you, thank you. Rishabh, do you want to go next? Cool, cool, cool. Thank you. Shivans, do you want to go next? Great, 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 great. Chitran, do you want to go next? ग्रेट ग्रेट सही है यार ऐसे ही रखो शॉर्ट ही रखो सब एक एक सेंटेंस में खत्म दीक्षा डू वांट टू गो नेक्स्ट क्विक इंट्रो ओके ओके ग्रेट ग्रेट आई थिंक वी शुड ऐड दिस लाइन कि क्लाउड कितना आता है जिससे कि थोड़ा सा कॉन्टेक्स्ट भी मिल जाए कि किसको कितना आता है एंड देन वी कैन प्रोसीड um who wants to go next Dhruvi do you want to go next quick intro and I think ये थोड़ा closed group है तो if anybody is also looking for a job switch please बता दो एक दूसरे को और DM में बता दो जैसा भी सही है गरिमा व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप यार मैनेज करना पड़ता है उसको ठीक है I'll make one after this um Garima do you want to go next very quick intro Nice, nice, nice. Um, who is left? Ria, do you want to go next? Cool. Who's left? Vishnu, did you introduce yourself? Yeah, yeah. Interesting, interesting. Okay. Cool. Ipsa, do you want to go next? Okay. Cool, cool, cool. ठीक है और कौन बचा यार प्लीज इंट्रोड्यूस कर दो जल्दी से नीड टू जंप इन या great, great, nice meeting you. Who else is left? Craig, I think Craig is left. Is he here? Is he left? He's left. Chirag. Okay, great. I think Vaibhav just joined. I think Vaibhav, very good timing. I think you're the only one who's left to introduce yourself. We're just doing a quick intro, one line intro. Do you want to introduce yourself, Vaibhav? Might have caught you off guard. Yeah, fascinating. Cool. Thank you. ठीक है भाई लोग. Thank you so much. Is there anybody who doesn't understand Hindi here? सबको आती है. Oh, you don't understand? Okay, cool, cool, cool. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We'll keep it in English. Don't worry, don't worry. I might switch in Hindi at times. If I do, please raise your hand and I just switch back instantly. Cool. Anyway, thank you so much for joining in on a Saturday. I know everybody wants to relax, but I think Claude is in every second or third reel and बहुत कुछ चल रहा है. um, in the industry, and I think everybody wants to just catch on. So I'll just quickly present my screen. Made a deck uh, that I'm going to present, and give me like a second here. I'm just closing a few things. So my tabs open. Figma present. Um, yeah. By the way, for context, I tried using Claude to create the presentation, but apparently it does a very bad job. So it doesn't work, guys. That's the first takeaway, I think, right away. Um, anyway, cool. So we'll just jump in. I think Ria, this next slide is for you. Please take a chill pill. We are going to cover a lot of things today. Mainly going to talk about the basics of Claude, but also going to touch upon a few complex things here and there. There are a few takeaways that I have towards the end. Um, so if you do stay towards the end, I think we'll be able to talk a lot about agentic AI in like an AI sort of language. So I hope at the end of the day you probably start to apply a few things. But how many of you are from an architecture background here, if I may? Natasha is here. I know Natasha. Is there anybody else? Does anybody know this guy, Mahendra Raj? Has anybody heard of it? Natasha, do you know him? What, you're on mute. I know I put a lot of pressure on you. देखो याद है नहीं but oh, is it? I don't know about मतलब इतना मेरे को नहीं पता कि वो डिजाइनर बना है नहीं बना but apparently he was a very famous architect and back in 1970 he was given a task because India was about to complete 25 years of independence and we had to create like a big exhibition hall so that other countries can come in and look at what India is doing after independence because of course 25 years is like a long period of time. So um, this guy created a design and everybody was like, yeah, we need to use steel for some reason. One second, somebody else is also here. Where was it? Podcast. I don't know. Yeah, cool. Sorry. Um, does anybody else have like host permissions so that they can let people in, or no? Is that only me? Okay, cool. Sorry, coming back to the story. So there was this huge steel sort of an architectural building that they wanted to build, and something at that scale had never been done in India before. But the problem was much bigger. It was that steel was not made in India back then. Like we did not have industries set up. We could not import it because it was way too expensive. So the question had to be asked: what is to be done? Hmm. Um, the decision was, of course, we can't say we can't build it because, of course, 25 years of experience, independence. So we finally ended up, you know, doing something at a scale. This guy ended up doing something at a scale which had never been done before, and used concrete to create a building, a very iconic building in India. People from New Delhi or maybe people from outside might have seen this building called Pragati Maidan. The place, the building was called Hall of Nations. Um, it was an amazing building. It was um, such a building that structural engineers from all around the world came to this place to have a look at कि भाई ये बनाया क्या है इसने. Um, but yeah, we'll come back to him again. I know we have a lot to catch up on Claude, but I will just take his name again towards the end and sort of connect the dots. बाद में. Because the way he had thought about this problem is exactly what I want you guys to leave with as a takeaway from this session. Um, Cool, namaste. Uh, Hi guys, for those of you who don't know me, I am Shresht. I am a designer turned founder. I was born in a city where people say pehle aap, called Lucknow, and then made a huge transition to a place called Delhi, जहाँ पे पहले मैं होता है, आया तो हाथ से हाथ काट दूँगा, पैर काट दूँगा, पता नहीं क्या होता है, मेट्रो में तलवार कैसे लेके आया वाला सीन। Did my bachelor's in product design. Um, Worked in a few industries for a very short period of time. Furniture, toys, automotive. And then most of my experience has been with drones. And it's about a change. The sentence is about a change because now my agency is probably going to be uh, way longer that I've worked in the industry for than this. But finally decided to quit my job, traveled for a while from Pune to Delhi, drove all the way, tried my hand at mentorship, uh, mentored on ADP list, built a community here. For those of you who don't know me, or who know the community, it's called Open UX. I don't know approach chal rahi hai, nahi chal rahi, no idea about that. Did a bit of freelancing, joined an NGO, left that, uh, finally focused on a company called Osiflow. That's the company that I run. It's an agency and now is transitioning into an HMI design product, hopefully. Making pivot here. Um, but coming forward to this day, a few days back, I was at Microsoft UX Day. And that is where I was having a lot of conversations around how people are using Claude. And surprisingly, people didn't actually use Claude because in the talks that people were giving in Microsoft, they were using small, very easy terms which I believe everybody should know, like pull request, what do you commit, how do you commit, how do you merge things, like code language basically, coding language. Um, and then I think similar conversations had been around in the room at the Claude New Delhi event as well. I think that's where I sort of saw कि भाई Claude के ऊपर session करना चाहिए, and that's why we are here. Um, Quickly jumping into the agenda, we're going to cover three main things. We're going to cover the basics of Claude. This is an open session, by the way. If at any point of time you don't understand anything, if you have any inputs, if you want to skip through or slow down, please let me know. We're going to jump into a few demos as well. I have a few snippets of prompts that I've already prepared. I have a few resources to give you as well. I'll share a few files with you on Google Drive, and I'll of course share my learnings that I've been uh, with Claude so far. But at the end of the day, my goal is just to nudge you to take some action on Claude after this session or probably on Monday first thing. But before again we jump into the session, I want to just say that at the end of the day, your judgment is the main thing that matters. These tools come and go. Maybe Claude kal nahi hoga, maybe there might be some other tool, etc. But at the end of the day, your goal is what you want to achieve. So please learn things conceptually in this session. Don't just look at it. Ki if I do this, I'll achieve X, Y, Z, and my task will be complete. Please look at it conceptually. Um, Cool. I'll be honest with you. I am just sharing my learnings here. Maybe you know more than me. If you do, please open your mic and talk along, whatever you feel like. So, a lot of you filled out the form, and what I did was I tried to categorize people just to understand who is sitting here in this virtual room today with us. There are three types of people. The first ones are the ones who have not tried Claude yet. The second ones have tried it but don't know where exactly does it fit in their workflow. And the third one, they're already running in MCPs, they're doing very complex stuff, probably much more than me. This session is built for A and B sort of folks, but the resources are for all three levels because we have a lot of open resources as well, open Git files that I've sort of compiled that uh, I'll share with you. Um, Cool. One key thing that I think I saw when people were using Claude or at least talking about Claude was that a lot of people are using it like a search engine or more like a very basic question and answer sort of thing. Um, Even I do that. For example, I have a very bad habit of uh, clicking Alt and spacebar and just opening up ChatGPT and just typing stuff. But then that is where the difference comes between normal general prompting AI tools and Claude. Claude is not meant for that. Claude is meant to be a collaborator. It is meant to build things because it has such an immense power, and that is why it consumes a lot of tokens. And that is where the main difference comes in when you're trying to understand what is the difference between OpenAI's Codex, what is the difference between normal GPT and chat and Claude. Sorry. Um, but you need to remember that an intern and a CEO both have the same tool in front of them. It's just that how they are prompting it is what is making the entire difference of how they are working. And Claude is only as good as the context that you give. So you might have seen a few videos on YouTube. Every time a person enters a prompt, it's either verbal or typed, and it's like a very long prompt because you need to give it entire context. We'll jump into why the first answer that Claude gives is not exactly the answer that you're looking for, but it's actually the brief that you want to modify and then get an answer out of Claude from. Um, a very recent podcast that I saw was Lenny's podcast. I don't have a link of it here, but if you do get time, please have a look at it because the head of design at Anthropic says that the process that we used to understand is now dead. And what she meant was the old phase of how the process was is now dead because now designers are pushing code. So that is where Claude is fitting in. The craft is not dead, but the process that earlier was is sort of dead. There are three rules that we should start off with. The first one is basically how do you prompt things? When you're creating a prompt, you need four parts. One, you need to define the role of the person. Suppose, for example, I want to say that I want to buy I want to buy a comb, okay, online from Amazon. comb बाल बनाने वाला comb, ठीक है? Very random example here, but वो मेरे सामने था, so that's why I'm taking that example. Suppose, for example, you want to buy a comb from Amazon and you want to use Claude for it. You would want to assign it a role. You want to say that you are the person who understands combs the best. Um, your task is to find out comb shops in Noida because that is where I stay, specifically near Sector 50 because that is where I stay. You have to apply some constraints. It should not be too far from me or too expensive because that is out of my budget, and um, I won't get that ROI if I order it from outside. And the format in which you want that answer. Suppose, for example, I can say, I am looking for only black color comb within this range. So that is a format in which I want that answer in, and it'll basically give you that format. But is that enough? No, because you did not give it enough context. You did not tell it what type of hair do you have, because there are so many types of combs, right? There are brushes, there are normal combs, etc., etc. So you need to give it entire context as well. And I'll show you some examples of how we have structured all these things together. And the third rule is you need your output is not the answer that it gives, because the first conversation that you have with Claude, it's more like you are trying to explain your situation to it. It is trying to explain what it understood. And after that conversation of one prompting, you will then start to generate things. So again, generating code is not easy because code requires a lot of context as well. So again, your first answer that you'll get out of Claude will not be the right answer. It'll most probably be some assumption based thing that you want to rule out. That is why you need to take out some brief and then, you know, um, the things. But yeah, let's get our hand dirty. Let's open up Claude. I will give you a quick brief about what Claude Chat, Code, and Cowork is. Um, okay, cool. Yeah, so here's the interface for those of you who have not seen. Chat is basically a system in which you are asking it something and it is just answering it. It might take long to answer it, but it's a sequential linear thing that it is doing. Cowork is somewhat different. Cowork and code are places where you can ask it to think and you can build on loops in which you want to answer. Yeah, Devesh, hi. You're on mute. I'll get to it. I'll get to it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. I'll get to it. I'll get to it. I mean, if you want to actually like just understand where do you see that token usage, it's here. But then you only get some context कितना use हो रहा है. I'll get to the plugin that you can get. It's called Claude Connect, by the way, if you want to just use it right away. It's called Claude Connect. You can go online and get the free Git link for it. Cool. Yeah. So yeah, Cowork and Claude are two places where you can build in different types of loops, and that is what agentic workflow is all about. Um, Cowork is different from code because Cowork works in a local isolated environment or in cloud working on files. So Cowork is something which evolved out of code, and code is basically where you build in different things. Like for example, you will always define like a space where you want to work. You can either work locally or you can work on cloud. That is why there are two options for you to open this. Either you get the desktop application, which I have opened right here, or you can use claude.ai on web and start using it. Um, you can like connect different repos. You definitely have to connect one in order to work in it, and that changes things. Suppose, for example, I am trying to build my own business here, right? I say that I want to research what competitors do I have. At this point of time, I don't want my code of different products to get affected by this answer. So I won't go here. What I'll do is I'll go to Cowork and I'll open up a local deployment here. I'll open up a project or I'll give it a task, create a new file, and then start working on it. So yeah, that's pretty much the difference between Cowork, Claude, and Chat. Is there any question that anybody has before we jump into the next step? No? Cool. Okay. ठीक है. Coming back to this, the basics of all products are done. You understand what that is, and now it's about to jump into. Let's jump into. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sorry, somebody was saying something. Yeah, yeah, sure. Sh- Sure, sure, sure. So suppose, for example, you don't want to work in a specific repository. You want all the context to remain in your local laptop. That is when, or on cloud, but not related to any code branch. That is when you use Cowork. Cowork specializes in managing files, understanding about files, etc. So suppose, for example, you want to clear your own desktop and arrange folders and files in it. So you would go to Cowork and you would just write, please arrange this for me. It will give you, it'll ask you access of your desktop. And then once you give it that access, वो करने लग जाएगा. Yeah, there's a very fine difference between them. Technically speaking, you can build code through Cowork, and through code, you can technically make changes on your own laptop as well. There's a very fine difference. I don't think so. Even Anthropic can answer that. It's just that the use cases are different and it's built for a specific type of a use case. So that's what I'm also explaining to you. But there's a very fine difference between them. Yeah, yeah, interesting. Interesting. Okay, I did not know that. Thank you. I think that's why probably Cowork has this live artifacts model while code doesn't. Makes sense. Makes sense. Thank you. Okay. Jumping back to agents. This is where I think the magic happens. How many of you already know how agents work or have used agents before in some sort of way? Can somebody just explain what have they done and how have they used it? Yeah, yeah, Chirag, go ahead. Yeah, sure, sure. Yeah. Right. Great point. Great point. Yeah. Natasha, what about you? How have you used agents? Uh-huh. Yeah. Okay. Okay. And deploying sub-agents like how? For what? Like competitive research or something like that? Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Cool. 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 I mean, again, so coming back to the difference between chat and cowork and code, basically, um, again, chat was like a linear discussion. The agent, you can imagine it having like infinite number of nodes, and you can add in as many connectors to it, and you can put them in loop so that they keep on working. So it acts like a human, you can say, just to understand what exactly is it doing. But essentially it's just a text file, and you assign a job to it. Like I think Chirag was telling कि वो XYZ type की चीजें कर सकता है. So yeah, that's pretty much it. But an agent is built up of three things. It's important to understand these things because at the end of the day, I think uh, it's so you keep spawning in agents every now and then. When you're working in like if you have like a good workflow that you've already set in, you would want to spawn different agents every now and then, and you would see like different patterns emerging. Like for example, like Natasha said, that she does it, she uses it for competitive research. Rather than defining every time that you want to do competitive research, is better to create that agent, store it online, and or locally, and then keep calling it again and again and again. So that's why it's important to understand the structure of these agents so that you can save those files, essentially. um, yeah. So yeah, again, three things. One is persona. Who exactly is it? What does it do? That's the task and the constraints of what it should do and what it should not do. That's essentially it. I'll give you a live demo of one uh, prompt that I've already prepared. Um, yeah, one second. I just deploy it on this. So suppose, for example, here I have a local branch called internal agent. It's on cloud, but I use this for any random thing. So here's the prompt that I've given it. I've just defined it to be a senior HMI designer, HMI being human machine interaction design auditor. And whenever I show you a design agent, just give me like an outline of what do you think about that particular type of design. I'm gonna spawn it. So what it's doing right now, it's setting up a container on cloud. It's setting up like an environment in which it wants to work, like a sandbox, so that उसको बाहर का context ना और वो कहीं बाहर ना चला जाए इधर उधर. And then everything is done, right? So all I need to do right now is just go to, for example, Figma. I'll take out a screenshot of a dashboard that I had made long back here, one second, and then paste it here. So I've taken a screenshot, I'm pasting it here. Uh, this is what the dashboard looks like if somebody is interested here. And this is like a fleet dashboard of different types of robots. niche, and then I'm just going to give it to this agent so that it can help out. Shit, what happened to it? Oh, this word. Also, I'm using APIs by the way, because I've run out of credits because I was testing a lot of things for this session. Um, and I don't know why this is happening. Wait 1 second. Claude. So yeah, I think that's the go-to. This is the go-to thing by the way I do. Like I said, uh, error on Claude. I just open up ChatGPT to understand why exactly is this happening, because if I ask Claude, it'll again consume a lot of tokens. क्या हो गया भाई? चलिए चलो. So predict typing this text and analyze this dashboard. Not sure why it's not working, guys. क्यों नहीं चल रहा है भाई? Wait, I'll just open it here. We try it in Cova. That है वही fail हो गया. Continuous dashboard. If it doesn't work, we'll just switch on to the next one. 1 minute. Compile the results and share them with me. So you can deploy in sub-agents like this. You can define in specific tasks that those agents should do. You should always, in my assumption, define the time that you want to work on. You should also add in some constraints, like for example, don't come before 2 minutes, because कई बार वो ऐसे पहले भी आ जाते हैं. I think it totally depends on what type of a model you're using. For example, for Sonnet, I've seen that these agents keep coming back as soon as some amount of research that they've done, but with Opus they don't. I don't know the reasoning कि वो कैसे हो रहा है, but yeah, that's how they work. So you can see they're running sub agents here, um, and then of course you'll get in that response of whatever that was. Cool, yeah. So coming back to the presentation, I want to explain what exactly is the structure in which these agents are being called. Um, Whenever you're working on one type of a project, it has a lot of sub files in it. Okay, so your Claude MD file is the main data source. It's mainly like less than 200 words or characters. It is like something which is called in every conversation. Like your agent will always read what is there in Claude and only then proceed to understand what exactly is there in the other subfolders, etc. The second part is these commands. This is like the folder in which you are going to save those agents. So suppose, for example, you go on Git and you say download some uh, Git that deploys multiple agents together. You should be able to understand the folder structure so that you can make specific changes to some agents. So for example, I have a habit of like keep researching on what type of HMI tools are being made, and a very common practice when I'm doing like competitive research and I go on like Git to get those agents is that um, these agents are very basic in nature. What people have defined, like they say that go on web and do some research, but I don't want that. Like, I want to apply some constraints to it. So what I do is I open up these agentic files. These are basically like different agents: audit, review, and ship. These are the names of these agents. So what I usually do is I'll open up these files. I'll add in a few sentences here and there. For example, I am very curious about patterns that are well researched and established, and only then I want to uh, accept them as like a good competitive research. So you can define in those type of agents uh, and make changes to these files and so on. Is everybody on board with where we are? Am I going too fast? Am I going too slow? Cool. Okay. Cool. Next comes an interesting part in terms of how are you orchestrating these agents. um, Imagine, for example, अभी यहाँ पे कॉल पे कुछ 10-15 लोग हैं, and all these 10 to 15 people want to work on something. The thing with agents is the moment you deploy them, sometimes they are running in a sequence, sometimes they are running parallelly, but they're all making changes to one exact code base or one exact thing. So imagine like 20 changes happening together at that point of time. So your output will of course get hindered, and there'll be different loops, and some agent will be like keep working on something again and again so that you get like a better output. So I'm just going to explain what type of different orchestrations you can have when you are writing these different types of codes. The first one is sequential. Sequential being, if you do this, only then you start the next task. If you do market research, only then start ideating. So you build like a linear sequence. Only after one is done, the second should start deploying. Parallel is like you are running 20 different things parallelly. So like I said, I want to build like an human machine interaction dashboard sort of a thing. So what I'll do is I'll run one HMI agent that is only researching on human machine interaction interfaces, and the second one is only looking at SaaS dashboards online. And you're running them parallelly because they're not hindering with each other's work. What you can do is basically um, define an orchestrator on top of them who can do like a review every 5 minutes, and then you can build on different loops. So you deploy two agents, sub agents for like 5 minutes each. So they come back in after 5 minutes. You do like a quick peer review, like I did just now in the co-work session. They talk for 2 minutes and then they go back again, do some research, and then finally you compile everything. So essentially, what you're doing is you are improving the way you would do research, and instead of just one human mind doing that competitive research, you have a machine that is running multiple instances and doing peer reviews of experts and then coming back with the result. So your competitive research in this example would be far better. Yeah, so yeah, parallel, three audits simultaneously. These are just different demos. I can show you one. There are two ways in which you can, of course, work on this. Suppose, for example, like I did here, this, okay, yeah. So these are, this is the result of the last research that we did. There are two ways in which you can run on these parallel agents. One is you can have only one chat and then you can work on it. Like, for example, if I go to code, I'm not sure if it's going to work here or not. I'll just open up a new session. But yeah, so for example, this is like a repository that is it's connected to. It's like a code base that is already existing out there. You can go in here, you can deploy an agent saying, I want to do XYZ amount of research, and then you can start off another session parallelly, or you can run one here itself with a very long context given to it in like a very long sentence. So yeah, those are like different ways in which you can work um, with these agents. But yeah, um, I'll just quickly jump over to this. There's also situational. The third type is like the situational one, which is that every now and then you want to review what it's doing. So what you say is, let me make a decision after 5 minutes of your research, or once you find something. How many of you have heard about? You've heard about Y Combinator? Yeah. Um, Okay. So for those of you who haven't, it's like a VC firm. It gives you like good amount of money. Like it's one of those startup investors who built in big companies like Stripe, uh, I don't know, Airbnb, so many big companies, right? Um, and these are the guys who have sort of built these systems. Um, and one of them is called GStack. It's by the president Gary. Has anybody used GStack here? No, I'll give you a quick demo of GStack as well. But what GStack is essentially, it's like the brain of that precedent of Y Combinator on a machine, and it's highly opinionated. And when these agents are highly opinionated, they give very good results. So I'll give you a stupid sort of an example as well, because I was just experimenting around, uh, and I really like this character of Frank Underwood. If you guys have seen House of Cards, I'm not sure how many of you have seen House of Cards. uh, or yeah, there's also Succession. If anybody has seen Succession, I'm not sure. Or Peaky Blinders, I don't know. Like you can like create take those characters. You can take the characteristics of those characters and then create agents of them, and then you can take an opinion in terms of what they would do in such a situation. So, for example, Frank Underwood, he was a very good decision maker. I don't care about the story of what happened. I don't care about what he did, what he didn't do in real life. But essentially, he was a very good decision maker, which means that at times when I am confused, I'm not able to take that decision. So you can, yeah, of course, feed in those information in those agent brains, like I explained in the tree before. You can open up those files, you can feed in that information, and then you get highly opinionated things, which means that every now and then the agent will stop working. It will ask you a few more questions. How do you want to proceed? And then you can uh, go ahead and move on with your task. So yeah, coming back to these are very good resources that I think. Yeah, 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 Natasha. Yes, you can prompt it through the chat as well. For example, material design is like something which is available publicly, and I think these systems are very good in terms of doing online research and finding out different things. So, suppose for example, you want to create like an MD file of a design system called material design. What you can do is you can just go to ChatGPT, put in the link of that, and then create those markdown files. Or I can also show you how I actually did that. Wait, let me also share you this resource. I think this opened up the resource folder that I was talking about that I've created for everybody. Uh, one second, I'll just share the link of that. I haven't shared that link, right? Yeah, here. I'm putting it on chat. I hope you can access it. I think I've updated the permission. Let me know if you can access it. Yeah, I've updated the permission. Yeah, you should be able to access it. So what I've done here is I've created like a project folder for you that you can have a look at and then understand what exactly is it. Like, please don't get into that mode like I was talking about earlier. Please don't get into that mode that you just keep using it as a system and you just prompt, put it on Claude and just start using it. Please don't do that. Like, please read the files, what exactly is written in it. Um, ठीक है बहुत मेहनत लगी है उसको बनाने में, but the point is like um, you have to understand what exactly is that agent doing, what are different types of files inside that project, and how are they coming together to give you a better output. Cool. So yeah, you can refer to it. But yeah, Natasha, did I answer your question of how do you create those markdown files? Did that help? Okay. Cool. Cool. I'll give you guys a quick idea about how I use anti-gravity and work with markdown files. Like for example, even for this session, I've worked a lot with markdown files. I'll give you an idea about that as well. But yeah, please note down this pointer here. I don't know, मैं chat में डालूं क्या? I'm going to give you like different types of like these agents, agentic systems that you can build on. This one right here, it's like a whole team, and that is why a lot of people have been using it and improving it on Git. It's an open source thing again. All these resources that I'm putting out here are all open source. So you have a PM, you have a designer, you have a developer. All of them are working one after the other to create a one create an right. Wait, I just put out this link as well for you. 1 second. Yeah, yes, putting it on chat. That is one. The second one is this. This is something. So that was sequential. This is a parallel agent, one of the most famous parallel agents, the agentic systems that you can find out here. Putting out the link of this as well. And the third one is this. This is also an interesting thing. This is one of the most famous ones because all you need to do is like give it like a very like a single line, and it does everything on its own. It's both good and bad. It's good because it can assume a lot of things. Like for example, if you don't want to ideate, you don't want to spend time on doing all this. Oh, by the way, sorry, is everybody familiar with Git? I totally forgot about that. GitHub. Is there anybody who isn't? I'll give you a quick intro about Git as well. Everybody is? Oh, imagine it to be, yeah. So I'll just open one of them. 1 second. Here, this is also a famous Claude cookbook. So essentially what you have here is, you need to, by the way, please get an understanding of Git because this is one of the best resources out there through which you can get a lot of open source stuff. This is nothing but like a file explorer. All of these are different types of folders. All of these are different types of file. You see a markdown file here. You'll see very common terms like Claude MD is the one that I was talking about. Every folder has it. Every project has one. And then you have agents like I was talking about. You can go inside Claude. You can go inside agents, and you can review what type of an agent there is. And you can of course like open that file and read what exactly is that agent all about and make some changes every now and then. And then of course like you can download the entire code base, or you can, if you want to watch it, you can also create a fork. Totally up to you. But yeah, won't get into the details of this though. Please read up about this and uh, experiment with it, and you will see the results. Um, but yeah, has anybody heard these terms? Does anybody know what this is? Software factories and 10x engineers? Okay. So this is a very new term that has come up, which essentially means that software factories are, you can imagine them to be different teams all working remotely. So right now, like I just showed you on Claude, what you can do is either you can deploy something locally on your laptop, or you can deploy them on the cloud. Um, Essentially, software factories are like systems that don't run out of energy or time and are keep working continuously. So these links that I've given you before, um, these will help you make these software factories so that you can work on different types of. One key pivot, I think, here in this talk or in this discussion that I believe is important to address is that now the discussions are changing from that design centric creativity sort of a thing to how do you use this tool and how do you code. Because I mean, I know a lot of you have already heard it if somebody has not, but roles are merging, um, and things are changing every now and then, so you need to understand code as well. So yeah, this is where the coding wala part comes in, and Claude is extremely good at coding. It's one of the best tools out there, I believe. um, yeah. And then engineers, the 10x engineer term is also something related to that. These are, I believe, if I'm not wrong, all coined by Y Combinator. And 10x engineers is a term that uh, I think Gary only, the president, only coined in because 14 years back when he started working at Y Combinator, he stopped writing code. And today, like a few months back, he has been coding every now and then, and the work has been 10x what it was before. And his entire brain is like in a system, in a machine now. So, yeah, essentially, engineers are also speeding up things. Rishabh, do you want to say something? No. Okay, cool. Yeah. So, somebody wants to come in. Second. Sorry. Just one second. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Um, so yeah, these are a few terms that I think you should also read up about. I believe the more you read up about these things, the more you sort of stay updated. A few resources for this would definitely be Lenny's podcast. The best part about Lenny's podcast is if you go in the description, you'll find a link. And in that link, that guy has put out all his transcripts of all the talks and podcasts that he's ever had. So essentially, you can just paste that link on ChatGPT and get an outline of what everybody else in the world is, doing. Uh, yeah. Cool. Uh, Coming to the topic of product thinking. Um, I think the best part. Yeah, 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 uncle. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sure. Um, Here is one I believe that I think I shared with you guys, if I'm not wrong. Crew AI, right? Um, what you need to do is you need to go here uh, and then download the zip file. That's what usually I do. If you want to keep yourself updated with whatever changes are coming in the code itself, you can do that. But I sort of find it safe to, just download the zip, get it checked by Claude first at Cowork. I upload the entire zip file to Cowork and I ask it to do a very thorough checkup. Um, I think this is a good point to talk about GStack as well. Um, this is GStack. I'll put out a link of this as well. This is mainly for founders and people who are building startups um, who can have a look at it. But yeah, that this is pretty much it. Like this is like the brain. One of the agents that are there inside this is called CSO, which is like a chief security advisor. And what I usually do is I open up anti-gravity. I don't want to open up a new software altogether and then bombard you with things. I'll open up later. But what I essentially do is um, I I use the security agent to scan this file because there are a lot of open source hacking, etc. sort of thing. Uh, so yeah, I just want to be safe. Again, I'm on a Windows laptop. I don't have a MacBook. So yeah, so you can download it and then you can use your terminal or at least you can go to ChatGPT and ask how do you install this basically. Um, One of the ways in which you can install this is like this. So I'll give you an example. Uh, Please ignore these posters. I was just drawing them. But essentially, you can create a file like this um, through which you can, just double click it, open it. And what it's doing is opening multiple terminals. Uh, they're not coming on one screen. There are like 12 terminals opening up. And then you enter an app. This is an app. It's called Octogen. It's basically how do you deploy multiple agents together and then control them. I won't get into the details of this because again it'll get too complicated right now. We'll take it up slowly, but yeah, that's essentially how you work with Git. Not every Git is same. For example, you won't be able to open every extension on your laptop. You need certain software to operate on it. So not everything will open up like that. GStack, like I said, is not something which will open up randomly on your laptop. You will either have to run it on Cursor or anti-gravity, or if you have a MacBook called there's a tool called Composer AI. You can run on that. But my recommendation again is like anti-gravity. That's like the simplest thing to do. All you need to do is like just download this and open it on anti-gravity, and it will work like one wonder whatever that is whatever that is. Yeah, sorry. So coming back to the presentation here. Um, yeah, one of the best parts that I think I like about AI agents is that you can build in anti-agents, people who can sort of pinpoint and say, why do you want to do this, etc. Like being the devil in the room, whatever that is called. right? So you can build those things. And I think one of the best things for designers that I've like experienced in the past 2 3 months is that we need skeptical PMs. Um, again, this is I just give a quick prompt here. I'll paste it on the chat as well. I think if you want to have, I don't think so I put it on the folder, but here's one of the things. So yeah, you can create agents like these and then deploy them as you like. But yeah, doing the antithesis of like looking at it from the anti perspective is also something which will be useful for everybody. Um, and Building upon this, like I've already introduced GStack now. So what GStack does is it mainly runs on Claude because the orchestration of these agents is very good in Claude, but you always need a second opinion. And when you need a second opinion, it's better to not use the same language that you're already using, the same LLM that you're already using. Like, for example, it's not necessary for you to use Claude. What you can do is you can deploy a codex agent and then have it review what Claude has done. And that is where things get interesting. So you can ask Claude to argue against itself as well, either in a different chat, in the same chat after it's done, like in a sequence, or you can deploy like a codex agent and that can review what Claude has done, and then you are basically like improving your code or whatever process that you are trying to do. Um, Cool. Just checking in again. Is everybody on board? Is everybody understanding what I'm talking about? Are there any questions before we proceed to the next thing? I will take that as a no. Cool. Uh, 1 second. I'll just open up this as well. Yeah. Sorry. Cool. Okay. Um. Yeah. So let's try to build an actual product. Um, is there anybody who has been successful in terms of deploying the Figma MCP with Claude and is using it every now and then to generate designs? Is Yeah, yeah, I see. I see. What about you, Vishnu? Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure. Uh, and let's have a look at it after the session is done. I don't want to just break the flow of how I prepared it. Uh, but we'll definitely get to it. Yeah, yes, Avansh. Alexa, turn on AC. Okay. Yeah, yeah, no, sorry. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was turning on the AC. Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Yeah, but you're not using Claude design, right? Hmm. Hmm. I see. I see. Yeah. Makes sense. Makes sense. Yeah, makes sense. Diksha did. Mhm. Sorry, sorry. Okay. Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. Makes sense. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Interesting. And Diksha, did you also say yes to, like, do you also use Claude to generate the designs, or okay? And how did you work on it? Like, what? How did you connect the design system to your this thing? Okay. Makes sense. Makes sense. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Makes sense. Sorry, Ria. Yeah. You were saying something? Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm. Yeah. 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 No. Yeah, 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 makes sense. No, I think essentially it's the same thing. It's just that I was just trying to understand how to use it. I'll get to all these things now because in my opinion, from what I've read and what I've experienced so far, um, Claude is not good in terms of generating designs via MCP in Figma. Um, what it's good at is understanding these design systems. The way it understands the design systems, I think even Stitch doesn't understand it that well. But then again, Google Stitch is very good in terms of creating those designs as it is using your design system file. And then you can essentially, what you can do is like, you can connect Google Stitch to Claude, and then you can pull the designs uh, on Claude, and then your code basically gets generated automatically. So yeah, but I'll jump into the design bit here. Here is a file that I have right now. It's like a very basic file design system. I shouldn't even call it a design system as such, but it's essentially like a dashboard. Like I just pasted. I'll just give you guys the link to it. Um, 1 second. Here is the file. You can create a copy of it. Uh, Here is the link. Can create a copy of it on your screens, and then what we can do is like a joint session in terms of what are you generating, how is the design generating for you versus how is it generating for me, and we'll compare this single dashboard sort of a design system to something extremely complicated like material design, because it has a lot of definitions given right now. So let's do like a working session for the next 10 minutes, and yeah, see how it goes. Um, so yeah, once you've created a copy of it, um, I can give you guys a prompt if you like. Do you want to write the prompt yourself, or do you want me to give you the prompt for Claude? Like, if have you guys already set up Claude and Figma? Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, makes sense. Cool. Is there anybody who doesn't understand how do you use Figma with Claude? I'll give you a quick idea about that as well. Yeah, you? Okay, cool. Yeah. Um, open up. Yeah, open up Claude. Go to customize. This is a new connector, by the way. Everything was there in connectors before. They pushed in a new update and they put everything in this. There are two things here. I think I'll just give you a quick introduction about different types of skills. These are the skills that I usually use every day. I have two accounts here. One of them is open. This is like a newer account. There's another account that I have like my personal development stuff in. Uh, but yeah, essentially what you can do is you can add in your own skills so that you can keep calling them in different conversations. Um, and then you have connectors here. So again, go to customize. Inside you have connectors. You can find Figma here, and then you can give it permissions, and you have to like connect the two systems together. You need to have like a dev sort of a seat for Figma. If you don't, there are very limited calls that you can make between these two systems. Um, yes, I have, but those are not for. Sorry, second. Can you guys hear me? Okay. So yeah, but those are not something that are open because I want to keep them a secret. I don't want to put everything out there. I've created different files. They're not there in this account. They're there in the other account. But do you have any specific questions about skills? I can answer them for you. I see. Yeah, yeah. These are again open source. I think they are by Claude themselves, or probably the open source community of Claude. You can find them. You can browse them by going here. These are all these open source different types of skills that you can add in, or of course you can create your own skill. So for those of you who don't understand what a skill is, it's like suppose for example you want to make tea. Um, and you don't have to explain the person who's making tea where exactly is the pot, where do you have to go, etc., because you can all put it in a file and then give them that file. So now they have the entire context of how they should work upon. And every time you have to make tea, all you have to do is like call that file and that person automatically understands it. But unless you call that file, you won't get tea basically. टी तो थोड़ा वैसा गॉसिप टाइप का लग रहा है, बट हाँ, anyway. Um, cool, yeah. Uh, did you guys create like a duplicate of the file? I will paste. I What I'll do is I'll for those of you who are not comfortable with writing everything right now in front of you, what I'll do is I will give you like the prompt so that you have some idea about it. Uh, of course, at the end of the day, your links are going to be different. So please don't put in my link, नहीं तो मेरे उससे connect हो जाएगा. I will just put out this as well for you so that you can test it out. Link. I have I put out ऐसे brackets में link बड़ा बड़ा, तो वहाँ पे all you have to do is put out a link and then like you can start using it. Um, okay, I'll also start using it then. देखते हैं कैसा बनता है, क्या बनता है. In my assumption, I have like had like a very bad experience in terms of generating designs with different types of design systems. Even material design did not work for me. But let's try it again and see how it goes. By the way, this you can use across. Sorry guys, I lost. Sorry guys, I lost electricity. But yeah, So when you're giving out this prompt, um, this is where you can use different types of skills as well so that you get better outputs. Um, if you remember the initial slide, context is everything for Claude. The more context you give it, the better it will work. Otherwise, it'll start assuming different things. Meanwhile, while it's working for you guys, um, I can I can't give you the link exactly, but also download material design uh, from Figma as well, um, if you haven't already, and create like a duplicate file of it on Figma so that you can connect it via MCP. Or of course, you can use your own design system if you have a project that you've already built, and let's see how it works out. And you can, of course, at the end of the day, the best part about Claude is you can run multiple instances of it. So suppose, for example, right here in Cowork, it is running something. What I can do is I can go to chat or open up browser and open a new instance of that chat, a new chat altogether, and I can give it more context to it so that it can, start designing. So I'll do that as well. Claude. Okay. So for example, that is one instance that is running. You can run another instance here. Just remember one thing, when you're connecting via MCP, um, your Figma, if you have one Figma open, it'll connect that MCP to this. So if you have like a one system on which you're working, um, essentially you can only create like a link for that Figma file, which will be accessed by everyone. So your things may slow down. That's one of the limitations of MCP. And either way, like I don't think so. MCP of Figma is very good. So why is it slow? Does anybody know this? Okay. Uh, in my assumption, from what I understand, um, the reason why it's slow is because what it does is the moment it connects, the first thing it does is it analyzes whatever is there in your file, right? So it understands the colors, the tokens, like it's doing here, right? The second thing that it does is once it starts designing, it's making multiple calls, and it is also trying to understand what exactly is it designing. So it takes a lot of screenshots in terms of what is being built, and then that screenshot is being brought back to Claude. It is analyzing it and then making changes again. That is one of the reasons why MCPs are slow as of today. The technology has been evolved, but eventually I believe that should get solved. And of course, if you want to understand what exactly is your system doing, you can open up these uh, drop downs and you can have like a granular level look. There are other tools for it as well, other Git links as well that I'll share them with you later on. Is there anybody who's stuck? Do you want any help? Let me know. Did anybody get an output? You can also let me know. By the way, it's going to consume a lot of tokens, but depends on like what type of systems have you installed again. Acha. Yeah, 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 sure. Can you present your screen? I just click ID. Yeah. Are you on your phone? Matlab, you can also present like open the camera. That also works. Yeah. Open session है यार कुछ भी करो. for me. Yeah. Go to customize, connectors, browse a connector, ऊपर plus दबाना ऊपर, browse connectors and open up, search for, yeah. All you have to do is like sign up, sign in on Figma. इसके बाद connect ऊपर है, right? Yes, Riya. Yeah, that's because probably, yeah, you don't have a planned rate. I believe, I'm not sure if it's available to everybody. You need to buy a subscription of Claude to use that. Hey, I, I have a slide for you to understand if you even want to like make a purchase of it or not. Um, but the gist of it is like you should anyway give it a try. Try your level best to ask your office people to get you a subscription, uh, either on educational basis or if you're an enterprise company, they would go for an educational sort of thing. They have a budget for that. If not, then we'll have to sort of purchase on your own. Maybe I don't know. But in my assumption, it is definitely worth a try, because you would learn things. Oh, you know what you can do? Uh, you can go to a Claude meetup and you get $20 of API credit. All the best, guys. You can do that. You get a random $20 of API credits. You can build stuff with it, do whatever you feel like. इप्सा नहीं चला क्या? सर हाँ, दिवेश 2 मिनट देना बस. यस, कनेक्ट कनेक्ट करो उसको. क्या हुआ? Okay. वो नहीं नहीं नहीं, इसका वो जीपीटी पे डाल के देखो क्या है ये, पता नहीं, इतना मैं नहीं कर पाऊँ. मेरे को नहीं पता ये क्या है. Like put, like copy that or take a screenshot of it, put it on GPT. That's what I do. When I don't even understand what code it made, I take a screenshot and just ask GPT to explain this to me. Because, by the way, you can download GPT on your laptops if you haven't. There's a very shortcut in Windows. It's Alt spacebar. Uh, ऐसे खुल जाता है वो. Better just paste it here, like this. Randomly, very quickly pops up. um, या फिर ऑप्शन प्लस होता है शायद मैकबुक में, if you have a Mac. But yeah, just put a screenshot of this on some AI bot and see. Yeah, दिवेश, क्या क्या कह रहे थे आप? Oh yeah. So what I've done is I've allowed everything. I don't care. I, I've allowed everything for Figma. No approvals needed. I use Apollo for like lead generation, and I need to be very careful in terms of what emails it is sending, etc. So what I do is I uh, have like permissions enabled in it so that it needs approval before it makes any changes. But yeah, for Figma, I don't care. Like, at least for me, I don't care. Maybe you do. If you're using it for official purposes, maybe you do. But yeah. By the way, this takes up a lot of tokens. So that's why be very careful. I've disabled it. But yeah, at least it was notorious a while back. I don't know what it is right now. What's the case right now? Maybe they've improved it. But yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah. Sorted. What was the error? Yeah. So my result came. Um, it basically understood what exactly is everything, and I just asked it to create like a small widget for me. And you can of course like specify what do you want, where do you want, etc., and it will start doing that. Okay, cool. What I'll do is meanwhile, should I move ahead with, because we have a few more slides that I think I want to cover up on. While your systems are working on it, जैसे कि पहले रेंडर लगा के छोड़ नहीं देते थे कि ये कर रहा है, करने दो इसको, तब तक कुछ और करो. तब let's move on to like the next part because we have a few things to cover up. um, so yeah, this was the live deployment of Datum. You've also tried Material. Um, you'll see a drastic amount of difference in terms of Material versus Datum, because Datum is essentially just a dashboard. Material has a lot of things defined online, so you can create like a good file of it. What I've done here is I also want to show you a bit about what Claude Design is all about. So I am going to present Claude Design to you. You can have a look at this. So what I've done is I went to Claude Design, okay, and I basically created a project. Is everybody on board? Are you guys busy making that system, or I can't see your faces, so I don't know. Am I stuck? Oh my god. Can you guys hear me? No. Can you hear me? Okay. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. So yeah. Should I proceed with this, or do you want to stop, understand it a bit more? What do you want? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. Okay. Yeah, that's because yeah, Figma exposes. That's what I was talking about. Yeah, you need to take a subscription of Figma as well to be able to use it. Um, is it worth it? Is a good question to ask for specifically for Figma MCP, because I don't think so. It's at a level where you can generate good enough output from it via MCP if you're talking about specifically. Um, I think it's still at that exploratory sort of a level, or maybe like they're improving on it. But yeah, thank you, Natasha. Cool. ठीक है. So does that answer your question? पैसे का खेल है. हो गया. सही बात है यार. कितना महंगा है ना ये सब. Anyway, yeah, cool. So coming back to Claude Design, I have two things. So first, what I did was I went to Claude. I asked Claude to create an design.md file for material design. What that means is design.md file is basically like a design system compilation of what types of tokens there are, the structure in which different tokens are made. I hope you are understanding what design system, the terms that I'm talking about. If you're not, please let me know. But different tokens that you have, different colors that you have, um, what are the guidelines, what you should do, what you shouldn't do, etc. It's all there in one file called design.md. I'm going to open up a file for you so that you have a better idea about it. Uh, 1 minute. I think I created one for this session as well. Second. Yes, sure. So I'm going to present like a new dashboard to you. Please थोड़ा डरना वरना मत. But हाँ देखो. This is essentially what an MD file is. It's like a pure text file called Markdown. MD is Markdown. This is the markdown file of material 3 Google that I prepared with Claude. Just a single prompt explaining what exactly is it that I want from this and where do I want to use it. It, by the way, Opus doesn't have like a real-time information inside it, so it doesn't understand what Claude design is unless you ask it to search on web. So you need to enable that functionality so that it is able to understand XYZ amount of things. But yeah, essentially what you see here is the breakdown of what type of system there is, what type of definitions do you have, etc., so that your system understands this. The second thing that is very important for you to have to be able to work with Claude Code is have this file, a local Figma file of whatever design system that you want, so that you can upload it uh, here. So yeah, you can create like a different system. I've created this design system. What I did was I just uploaded a few things, and it essentially made this entire system. So what I can do is all I can do is like go here and prompt it. Like for example, I want like a fleet dashboard. I won't present it because it will consume a lot of tokens for me, because it uses Opus again. Um, but yeah, now whatever it will make in the exact design system that was Datum in or material design in, whatever you've uploaded. Cool. So that's the basic of this. You won't have, I think you won't have access to this because this is not available for free. Uh, but yeah, that's pretty much the outline of this. The best part about this is you can go here and then you can export the entire thing directly on Claude Code. And once you do that, you will be able to generate that entire code uh, as it is. So yeah, you can hand off to Claude and proceed further. So yeah, that is about Claude Code. Yes, Chatin, yes. No, 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 no. So the context of the design system was the Figma file that I downloaded locally, created a markdown file of the design called designmd with Claude, and I uploaded them on this so that it can understand what exactly is the system that we are making. 1 second, I'll just try to .ai/design, I think. Yep. So if you go to this URL, you'll be able to see different types of systems that you have. One of the systems that I did was I went here, I pressed on create inside design system. I pressed create. It opened up this. What I did was I put out a repository link. For example, the internal system, the test system that I have built here, the URL of the Git, basically meaning the code connect, where exactly is the code going. Then I went here, I uploaded the file. Instead of the code, what I did was I uploaded the MD file, designmd file, so that it understands what context there is. And then of course, I uploaded the Figma file here. And once I did that, it took about 5 minutes or so. It says 5 minutes, it takes like 15 minutes. But essentially, you'll be able to see the entire design system here. Material. How does that look like? Yeah, sure. I think where is it? Today is 18th, 16th. I can't find it. Okay, I'll upload it for you. Wait. So I'll put out a link of Git here. GitHub.com. This is where you can find all your repositories. One of them repositories is this. All you need to do is like cut this out. You can go here. You can paste the link here. You can drop the Figma file here. I'll come in, I'll drop the Figma file here. I'll drop in the, 1 second, I think it's uploading. Yeah. So you see it here, it's very small. I think it's vibe coded in my assumption. They haven't put in any thought in terms of the interface because it's again in research preview. You can also upload one more file here. So once you do that, it has some context about what type of a design system that you have. And once you're done with that, you can of course add in more points. Yes, Natasha. Yeah, sure. Sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, 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 definitely. It's totally up to you. Depends on your use case. The reason why I said code was because if you're actually working in like a production grade environment where you're actually working on a product that is live out there, it's better to use the existing system rather than creating your own system and then pushing things, because then that would conflict in the code as well, and your developers would not be happy looking at two different conflicting codes, and then they'll have like it's a whole new cycle altogether. But it totally depends on your use case. Cool. Okay, cool. So we're done with the demo of Claude Design as well. A very short demo of this. Um, Here is my take based on the feedback that I have gotten so far. The code is the quality of the code earlier this year was extremely bad as compared to right now, which is good enough. So if it's at 70% right now, it's going to slowly increase, and you'll be able to generate like better code of course out of these systems as they improve. But right now you can use things like Codex or Gstack to improve your output. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it. I have some more opinions on things that I believe is like an overview in terms of what is Claude good at. Um, some of you had asked a lot of questions, and these slides later on are again the learnings that I've tried to answer in terms of the questions that you've asked. So these are again all your questions that I've tried to cover. If you have any more questions, please let me know within these slides as well. But yeah, what is actually Claude good at? I believe it's very good at before designing, when you are creating those strategies, when you're trying to create some basic wireframes. It depends on the context as well. For example, if you are trying to create something like a fleet dashboard for, I don't know, like a spot robot of Boston Dynamics, you won't get good enough patterns, so your designs won't be good. But if you're creating like a generic SaaS dashboard, and you want to just start off with some iterations, it's better to use Claude right away to get those iterations. And of course, you can have Mobin integrated inside Claude as well, so that you have like a good enough context about what real products are out there and what are people innovating. Um, is it good in terms of strategic calls? Yes. And I've also written sometimes, because it totally depends on what type of use case there is. There was somebody who mentioned here that there's an entire loop that they keep on going in. It's like a rabbit hole, and by the time you realize um, that you've been talking too much and not actually doing anything, is where your strategy essentially fails because you're losing out on time. I don't have an answer on in terms of how do you improve on that, but it's definitely an understanding. At least you understanding that itself is like the first step towards making an improvement. Um, One of the steps that I took is like very early on was that um, when I got the access to Chat GPT, I used to do a lot of business brainstorming in terms of how do I want to reach out to different clients, and I slowly realized that um, I was not doing enough, but I was just talking to the AI bot. So I canceled the subscription of ChatGPT for a month. I switched to Google. Uh, I think it was a good step because again, I slowly stopped. I wasn't able to stop when I was using ChatGPT. I used to open it for everything. I think over time, वो थोड़ी सी maturity आई है कुछ आई. Is design via Claude good? Yeah, no, and sometimes no, because MCPs don't usually work very well in terms of my understanding. If you're connecting Figma MCP with Claude, um, sometimes because it understands your code very well. And if you have that code, like Natasha just showed us, if you have that code integrated, if you have a good design system that you've already uploaded as a Figma file, local Figma file, it'll be able to create those designs. So it totally depends on your use case. And after designing, definitely, I have a few examples. I think they're coming on later on, but I think Figma deployed a system wherein the moment something is approved by somebody on Slack, um, it creates an instance and it automatically scans the accessibility of whatever design was created and then gives you like a result. So you can create these automated systems um, via integrations of Slack or whatnot. And yeah, it's very good in terms of after designing as well. What has worked for me, design systems, again, the more context you give before you actually prompt things out, the better your outputs get. Uh, I like deploying parallel agents because it helps me understand things from a different perspective. My way of working, I figured out, is that if you use two different chatbots, like for example, you open Claude AI and then Claude.ai in a different browser tab, and one on desktop, and you are running parallel agents doing the same task, you get better outputs. And then, of course, you can combine them together based on how you've deployed them. Um, yeah. Sequential chains for problem solution are very good because I think I like, for example, a lot of times I deploy things via Slack itself. I just call in cursor. I used to use cursor. Now I'm switched to anti-gravity. Might even switch back to cursor. I don't know. I'm still confused about that. But yes, of course, like you can create those sequences and then you can just deploy them on Slack. Like for example, one of the best use cases that I have as an example here is that my reset flow of the app that I created was not working on mobile phone, and I was sleeping at bed. I was in my bed at 11:30, and I was too tired to get up, so I just deployed an agent there, and it did all the work for me, and it committed everything. So yeah, that those are some good things. Please don't create like long chats. I think what has not worked for me is that if you create like long chats, after 20-30 exchanges, it just loses the entire context, and it ends up like using a lot of tokens because it has to read everything. So deploy a new chats every now and then. It doesn't matter. What you can do is like take out a summary and then take it to a new chat, like you do in chat GPT, etc. um Component edits, I don't think so it was able to edit those components, because again, it was like the entire Figma MCP versus Claude sort of a thing, which was creating a big problem for me. I don't think so it's good in terms of creative direction. In terms of like the normal design process, I sometimes take a break away from the system as well, because uh, I somehow feel like I'm being controlled by this system, and I don't like that. And I think I don't know, as designers, you want to break away from that because you want to have like some sort of creative direction, right? So it's always better to take a step back, create some ideation, and then put it back again so that it gives up better output. But it depends on how fast you're moving in your startup or your company, etc. Um, and yeah, generating code without specifying the stack being like what type of a code do you want? You want it on React, etc. I don't think so. There should be a problem for people who are working in companies because those things are already defined for you. Um, cool. This is an interesting part. How do you calculate the return on investment? Should you actually invest in something like this or not? This is a very theoretical sort of an approach. Uh, what I did was I calculated my chat GPT expenses with this, and then I figured out I don't think so I'm like getting enough value out of chat GPT, and that's why I was like, we should just quit it, because no point in paying $20 um, and just ending up in a rabbit hole. So of course you need to pick your hourly rate. It doesn't mean like think about it from like a client perspective. You can think about it in terms of your employment as well. What amount of money do you earn in an hour? You can calculate that. Just divide it with your week and just calculate it. What exactly is your calculations coming to? Ideally, I've seen that this calculation is like extremely high, so please be very honest. Don't use it like randomly, because then you'll get random numbers. Like it's like you're generating millions like if you say like, yeah, I just vibe coded a SaaS platform and it's creating millions of dollars for me, it just wouldn't work. Like it's just stupid. Um, but at the end of the day, I don't think so. It's about cost. It's about the adoption. There was a very interesting podcast by uh, I think it was Lenny's podcast only, or I don't remember. There was some VC podcast probably, and this guy was talking about ROI calculations in today's day and age are purely stupid because in today's age information is available इतने vast amount में that you have to take decisions in terms of what to build. You can build literally anything. So at the end of the day, it just uh, comes down to what exactly is the judgment that you have. So, huh, yeah, just take like a good decision in terms of what workflow you have, what tools you have. Please give it a try. I definitely recommend people to give it a try. Yeah, I think you should definitely give Claude a try for a month or so. I know it's very expensive, but if you actually see value in it, you would understand. If your company is like an enterprise company who's like not pushing you to adopt these, I believe you would fall behind in the entire race where everybody is like leveling up, but then somebody is not using Claude, so they're not at that level, etc. Um, but yeah, again, judgment is the same text. Yeah, here are some good examples. This is the one that I was talking about. Figma's internal team uses Claude to audit the component libraries. The moment they are pushed, they are automatically researched, and you get that result. And same goes for Raycast as well. They also have deployed these competitive UX audits. I think that's a very pretty common use case. Is just that they have made a case study out of Claude for this. So where is AI effective right now? Again, these are all my learnings. Might not work for you, but I think it's a very good thinking partner. I think the highest ROI you can get out of it is the thinking part because it's like an expert. The moment you are able to define a skill, the moment you are able to define an agent and create your own system, I think it works like tremendously well. And the best part about this is it constantly like you can, like I was talking about that anti angle that you have, right? You get a like a very good perspective because there's somebody who's always pushing you um, and trying to question you, so you can do that as well. I think design systems are also good. Like looking at it from a client perspective, not just like from a product perspective, but the service design services perspective. I think this was very good because the moment we deployed this for a website design project, I think everything just scaled up pretty quickly. So it acts as a good design system helper assistant, you can say. I don't think so. It's very good in terms of handoff. The moment you have a if your code is vibe coded, if your product is vibe coded, I think it doesn't matter what type of a code you have as long as your securities are set in good place, because you might get attacked every now and then, which has happened with me apparently recently. I don't know how, but it does happen. But yeah, the moment you have a developer, um, every developer I found out has their own sort of things that they like, how they like the code, etc. It's sort of changing, but a lot of developers are not very open to the codes that are exactly vibe coded because they have to make a lot of changes. So that is there. I don't think so. Design generator, like I've been talking about so far, I don't think so. It's very good in terms of generating those designs with MCP. It is definitely overhyped in my assumption because I've been seeing a lot of YouTube videos that I designed this, I designed that. In my assumption, I don't think so. It's at a level wherein it will be able to create that value for you right away. um, so yeah, workflows that genuinely improve your speed, iteration, and quality in decision making, I believe you can deploy them the moment you deploy the design library. Your entire design system, it is the highest compounding value in my assumption because your work is getting reduced every now and then, and you can focus on the decisions about the strategies that you want to put out on your product rather than creating those designs. Parallel audit, like I talked about earlier, sequential things that you can run. I believe, like I said, Slack is like a very good place that you can play around and test with the code, how things are working. And there's also a thing called Code Sandbox. If you haven't checked out, you should check this out as well. It's a good place to test out whatever components are being created. So if your components are created with AI, you can automatically get them tested. You can create NA10 or make.com loops and see how things are working. Um, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Um, a few resources. Yeah, GStack. This is the one that I think I'm very excited about. Um, do you want to take a break? Is everybody on board? How is everybody feeling? Trying to? Sorry? Oh, GStack. Yeah. It's a great tool. Yeah. I mean, it's one of the best tools that I believe exists out there. Here's how GStack looks like in my what do you say, anti-gravity. Um, what it's very good at is questioning you and building things. So can somebody just give me a scenario for, I think, Osiflow HMI, if you can, because this understands the context of Osiflow HMI very well. Geez, otherwise I would have like wasted a session. Does anybody want to give me a scenario in which I can ask like a business question to this chatbot, or should I do it on my own? Any idea? No? Cool. I'll just quickly come up with something then. Um, I want to design Datum, my design system, which I haven't got the time to work on. How do I go about it? A very simple prompt, right? Now, because I have GStack installed, I know a very specific skill that I want to call on. It's called office hours. Um, and I'll just say use GStack only. Now, the best part about this is that it will show you what it's thinking. This is Gary's mind, the Y Combinator's president. And once the system is deployed, once the skill is deployed, it's opened in a sandbox. It'll show you what exactly is it thinking, and it'll keep asking you questions in terms of how you want to build. So if you have like a startup idea that you are working on, if you want some business advice, etc., you can do that. So yeah, every time it just checks for like an update. That's what this was. Please don't randomly press enter. Please be very careful. Otherwise, if you've coded something, it might just edit that. Please be very careful, like, in terms of what enters are you pressing. And I've made my personal customization to GStack as well. I saw that every time I was talking to GStack, I had to give some information every now and then. So I created like a memory MD file and made some changes to GStack so that it understands what was the last conversation that I had, etc. So as you can see, I have rich prior collection about the status was approved, it was clear, detailed plan, etc. I should ask a follow-up question to see what exactly has changed, etc. So yeah, um, yeah, this is a very good tool because uh, it can deploy sub agents, and it can also every now and then question you argumentatively, and like I said, it's very highly opinionated. And once you have like a brain of and a person who is sort of very good in terms of that startup world, I believe that helps you out. So yeah, okay, I'll just stop this for now. Coming back to the slide, GStack is something that I think is very useful. You can check it out. Another one is Octogent. Like I think I showed you guys how it looked like. Um, this is basically how you deploy multiple agents together and how you coordinate them together. Um, this is the terminal file that is running, multiple files here, all deploying that. System is being deployed. Yeah, so this is a dashboard wherein you can see what type of agents do you have. um, when you want to deploy 10 or 12 agents, when your use case becomes extremely complicated, and there is one agent who's working on one part of the front end, another one is also working on another part, and there are things that are conflicting. This takes care of that. This is like a very good orchestrator. So you can use that. It's slightly complicated to understand. In all honesty, even I don't understand everything in this, but um, I've tried it a couple of times. I believe it works. It has a lot of copies that people have made across the globe. So I believe again, well tested out in the real world as well. Um, this was the one. I think somebody was asking me, Divesh, was that you? Somebody was asking me what can I do for that counter in terms of understanding how much uh, code is being used. So this is called Cloud Counter. Cloud Counter, you can find it on Git. Once you install it, it's like a plugin on Chrome. All you have to do is like install that, and once it installs all Cloud instances that run on web, you will get like a dashboard नीचे जहाँ पे it'll explain what type of tokens you have, how much tokens are being used, how much is left, etc. I haven't tried it yet. So I've just heard about this on the last meetup that I went to in Claude. They showed a live demo, and yeah, I mean, use it as you like. I use GStack, so I don't care much about these things. Um, this is a good resource for you if you want to understand what type of workflows can you build using Claude. This is official documentation of Claude, and this also is like a good resource for you if you want to do like a course um, about Anthropic. It has like a very basic understanding. So if somebody has no idea about what these things are, how these things work, you can definitely go here and check this out. And the resource folder that I just gave you, yeah, 1 second, I'll open, putting it out on chat. Here, that is one. Another one is this. These are very good resources if you want to check it out and try it. Yeah. So yeah, coming towards the end of this, the guy I was talking about earlier, he did not have the right tools, but he had deep understanding how wrong a tool can get, and then figuring out what to drop, what not to drop, and how to figure his way around things. And I think at this stage, because we are designers, most of us, or at least some of us, or at least me, are not technical as such, but over time, I think that understanding is something which plays a big part in terms of coding and then developing different tools. So you need to adopt even if you don't have the right tools or knowledge. But yeah, that's pretty much it. We have come towards the end. It's like an open session. If you want to talk about something, if you want to discuss something, we're already up on time. Oh my god. Okay. But yeah, that was pretty much it, guys. Thank you so much. Yeah, cool. I'll come back to the call. Yes, I'm good. I think so. Skills are essentially things that you can call every now and then. You can imagine them to be, how do you say, like I was giving that example of chai banana, right? I don't know how to make tea. There's a file called how to make tea. The moment I get that file, I know how to make tea. I know everything about that. So yeah, I can't come up with a better example. I think you can use GPT to understand it better. Yeah. Yes, Natasha. Yeah, yeah, please, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Natasha. Oh, I wasn't mute. I was saying thank you, Natasha. Natasha is going to be the co-host. सवाल ठीक है um yeah yeah I tried Claude Design to create like an animation. um it's a good experiment to do, but it's not something which you would deploy in a production grade environment, I would say, unless of course you're very experimental and very in the mindset that we want to adopt AI. We don't care about the quality of the output. um One of my friends, he created his own app through which you can edit Premiere Pro videos. Um, so yeah, you can do that. Technically speaking, you can do anything, but um, I would rather like wait it out and let somebody else deploy like a real thing and then use it. Sure. That. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes, above. I think it's very like I would say it's very contextual because I don't know what exactly is your product. I don't know what do you like, what do you not like. I'll assume a few things and I'll answer it from my perspective, um, if that works. Um, like for example, I know for sure that understanding code is something that I cannot give up on. Because if I don't understand the code, I don't understand the product well enough. And looking at a few like live deployments that people are making and the job cuts that people are doing, I believe that there'll be like usually there are like 5 levels now, instead of like 10, 12 levels across different fields, right? So everybody is going to be like a individual contributor. So in my assumption, my competition is that developer. And in my if you're talking purely from the perspective of what do you want to deploy, I don't know what I would do in that situation, but I would definitely spend that time instead of understanding the code itself so that I'm able to deploy something live in the next 2 weeks or 3 weeks or so that I act like a designer plus developer. Because right now, in my assumption, the developer is getting more value than you. And it's just a matter of taste that you're being called to, right? Ki, what should we do about this? I don't know if it's looking good. What should we do? Which option should we to choose? Thank you. Remain living. Take care. Bye bye. Yeah, I don't know if it answered your question. It's just like my perspective is like understanding code is very important. In terms of your workflow, I'm not sure how to answer that question. Yeah, yeah, of course. Yeah. Are you in a like a big MNC or Yeah, yeah, great. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think I can answer that question. In my assumption, it's like the closest example would be GStack. If you look at the architecture of GStack, um, because it is said to be highly opinionated, you would find out certain aspects of that code. So what you can do is you can download GStack, you can break it open, and you can see how did it finally take a decision on a certain aspect, and then you can like wipe code that part into your own system. Because see, I'll give you an example of Osiflow HMI as well, the product that I'm building. One of the biggest problems in robotics is that you need a lot of data to train your design systems in, to build different patterns. And what matters more than the live design is how did that design iterate over time. Like, what was the decision of why that button is not placed at the same place after 3 months? Like, what was that decision taken? So, if you upload that transition, in my assumption, that's like how do you train that model? If you upload that transition, you give it good examples, I think you'll be able to generate like a pattern out of like 3 or 5 examples, because that's what I did essentially for the system that I'm building. So yeah, I think that's possible. I would say I think breakdown G stack it would be the first step that if I would do if I was in your place. Yeah. If anybody else has pointers, please, like, it's an open session. I mean, I don't have all answers. Anybody has anything else to uh, add in or counter? Please do, open to it. किसी का कुछ नहीं है. चलो ठीक है. Thank you. Thank you. Cool. All right. Before we end the call, I will please send out a feedback form, because I need more feedback in terms of what is going good, what is going bad, etc. Um, तो प्लीज फिल इट आउट. ऑनेस्टली गंदा भी हुआ तो मेरे को पता चल जाएगा कि क्या इम्प्रूव करना है, तो प्लीज हेल्प आउट विद दैट. एंड डू यू थिंक, like, was this session useful to you? Do you think we should do something like this more, or I don't know, I just want to like get an understanding from you guys. Somebody said something, I don't know, or somebody came. No, any perspectives to share, positive, negative? नहीं, और करना चाहिए नहीं करना चाहिए, या क्या है? चलो फीडबैक फॉर्म में बता देना यार, बस भर देना भाई, बस भर देना प्लीज. Oh, take a chill pill round. Actually, that was at the end, but then I was like, भाई थोड़ा मस्ती से शुरू करते हैं. चिल पिल तो स्टार्टिंग में होना चाहिए. अच्छा. या या या. Do you what do you think is like the level at which we talked about? If anybody wants to drop off, please do. I mean, कुछ नहीं है, open session है, बिल्कुल जाना है जाओ, आना है आओ. But हाँ, like, I want to understand what do you think is like the level of this discussion that we had? Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. Right, right. I think wherever also said something. I think we can use sessions that help us update it and what exists with GitHub shares. Yeah, yeah, definitely. I think I missed one tool. I think super super stack. Wait, I'll just give you that link as well. I forgot to put that link. I think it's a very good tool because somebody was saying they have stopped using GStack and they've started using this. So, one second, I'll just share that link with you as well. Uh, और किसी को कोई पॉइंटर है तब तक तो प्लीज बताइए. ओपन यूसेज. Sorry, I didn't understand. Yeah. Oh, oh yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. Yeah. Do you use this? अच्छा 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 अच्छा. I have found that link by the way. It's called Cobra Superpowers here. I haven't tried it, but somebody was saying like the the Claude India community was talking about how this is better than GStack. Oh, Natasha, yes, you have a point. You want to say something? Yeah. Yeah. Call based on which group is it? Yeah. Makes Yeah, makes sense. Well, I would definitely recommend you all to try out the folder that I gave you. Um, Interestingly, I don't know, some people have left. I'll just give you an outline. There's a file inside it called Cowork. Um, and what it is I've written a basically like a prompt for you so that you can put those files into action. Um, and all you have to do is like just paste that uh, prompt in it, give the link of the folder that you downloaded it in or stored it in all the files in, and it'll give you like a actionable thing, and then you can start evolving and improving it slowly. Cool. All right. I think that's about it, guys. If you have any more pointers, any more feedback, please do share with me. Positive, negative, whatever. I'll anyway send out like a feedback form. It'll be very helpful if you fill that out. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much, guys. Enjoy your Saturday. क्या प्लान है सबके सैटरडे के? कोई कहीं जा रहा है अभी? अरे अरे अरे. ठीक है. Yeah, yeah, I agree. I agree. I agree. Yeah, yeah. Right, right. Sorry to break you. I have a pointer here for everybody. because everybody is like a designer here, has some somewhat experience in technical understanding, etc. Please go to AI meetups. Uh, please go to AI meetups. The conversations that I had in Claude meetup were like, I don't want to brag, but it's like I understand design now. Okay, there's nothing else to understand in design. And the moment I went to that Microsoft meetup, it was the same conversation all over again. What are you making? How are you making it? Vagera, vagera, what is your system? How many PMs you have, etc., etc. But the moment I went to that Claude meetup, I was talking to builders. I was listening to conversations that I did not understand because वो जो language थी ना उनकी, it's just slightly harder to comprehend. And the moment you keep on hearing those terms again and again, you start slowly building patterns, etc. It's like a new experience altogether. So please go to these developer meetups, these AI meetups, especially of Claude. I think there's one coming in Bombay. If anybody here is in Bombay, you should definitely visit. It's on 29th, 27th or 29th, something like that. I can share the link if you want. But definitely worth going to such meetups here. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Cool, cool, cool. Yeah. वो तो पता नहीं क्या हुआ उसका. Yeah, 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 definitely, 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 definitely. ठीक है, I'll create a group. I hope I have everyone's number. If I don't, I'll reach out to you on LinkedIn. Um, and I'll create a group. Forcefully add you guys. If you want to leave, leave. Won't care. Um, but ठीक है यार, guys. I need to off. I am way too tired. I'm not feeling well today. Thank you again for coming to this call. Hopefully, you learned something. If you can give me the feedback, that'll be good. If you can tell your friends about this, it'll be good. Uh, but that's about it, yeah. That's pretty much it. Thank you so much, guys. Drop off. Yeah. Yeah. Bye. Just go. Feel free to have a conversation, whoever wants to. Yeah. I'll drop off. Take care. Bye bye.